Hi, I'm Brad. Today we've got a really good video update on the Mazda 3 MPS, and this is the front wheel drive turbo car. Unfortunately no longer manufactured and available anywhere in the world, and certainly not available here in Australia anymore, but a very, very good value car for what they are and becoming very, very affordable. And we're pretty pleased to say this particular car is driven up from Victoria. For those people interstate and overseas, that's about 8 hours drive south from Sydney, and whilst he was in Sydney, made a bit of a holiday of it and got us to do the XB kit update. Now this particular kit, which I'm going to talk about in this video, allows us to custom tune the factory ECU, and then we modify the front half of the exhaust system, because that's where all the restriction is after you've done a custom tune. Now you may be looking for performance and improvements on this particular model, and you may have thought about, well, I might do an air intake or a turbo or something else. Well, don't. The best value upgrade on this particular car is first custom tune factory ECU, because it has very, very high torque limiting features in the ECU, which reduces power and performance in first, second, third and fourth gear. And then beyond that, if you want more power and performance, the front half of the exhaust is highly restrictive off the back of the turbo. Back half of the exhaust doesn't not need to be replaced. It's a very good free flowing exhaust, so you can replace the front half and bolt it up to the back half and have a good looking car that looks original and standard from the back and nice and stealthy, but not ridiculously loud. In this particular kit, which is the Dyno graph I've got in my hand, it's a good refresher update for a car that we do quite a lot of, and originally come into the workshop with 170 kilowatts at the wheels at 5,000 RPM, and it's now got 201 kilowatts at the wheels at 5,200 RPM. But one particular thing I want to draw your attention to on this graph, which I'm showing you now, is look at the blue lines. And if you look at the blue, we're talking about torque, and that's measured on the left. And if you look at 3,000 RPM on the graph at the bottom, peak torque is only, say, 350 Newton meters, but this car now has got 400 Newton meters, probably at about 2,800 or even a little bit earlier, and then it tops out at about 410 Newton meters at 38 RPM, and then it starts dropping off. And the reason why it drops off is because the turbo just can't maintain the boost. We don't want to run any more peak boost, because there is a certain peak boost figure that we run on these engines to make sure we maintain good reliability internally in the engine. If you run too much boost through them, you end up bending rods. And that point that I wanted to touch on is these engines do suffer turbo failure or smoky turbo sometimes, and the temptation is to go to a bigger turbo. But the downside of that is if you put a bigger turbo on it, you end up adding lag, which means the car comes on boost later, but you can't take advantage of the higher capacity of the bigger turbo unless you do an engine internal rebuild, because if you run more boost that bigger turbo can deliver with the factory standard internals, you'll end up doing damage to your engine. And at that point in time is, why would you have a bigger turbo if you're going to risk damage to your engine, and all you're doing is reducing its drivability? So commonly, most people we find are very, very happy with this setup, and this car from a drivability point of view is fantastic, fun car to drive, and will very, very easy light the wheels in first, second, third gear. So my comment is, in a front wheel drive car, why would you want more power? And from a drivability point of view, that's where you're driving the car around town. You're not always going to be feeding in a lot of gears all the time. So let's just have a look at the engine. I'll get my cameraman to come in. But you might be wondering what this is. Well, this is the dyno fan that we turn on, and it fills up like a ginormous windsock that pumps constant air into the top man intercoolers. It's similar to what we do on all our WRXs and STIs, because one thing that we're very focused on here at MRT is making sure we've got good, consistent dyno runs again and again and again. And if you've got the bonnet closed and you've just got a horizontal fan, you cannot get enough consistent air coming through the bonnet scoop on this particular model, because remember, this particular model, unlike some of the other ones, has got the scoop on the bonnet which goes in through there. And even with a good fan, you just cannot get enough air to the top man intercooler after maybe 2 power runs, and you end up with a lot of heat soak, which then affects the reliability of the air inlet temperature, which makes it very difficult for the tuner to adjust the tune from an ignition and knock correction point of view. So this, with the fan going flat out, we get constant air intake temperatures all the time. And you'll notice we're running factory standard airbox, because on this particular model, the factory standard airbox flows more than enough air to meet the power and torque requirements of this setup. The only reason you would change the air intake is you wanted a little bit of different noise, or a bit of more air intake induction noise, or you may like the looks of it. Don't put a modified or a short ram kit on this particular car thinking you need some increased miracle in performance, because it's just not needed. And if you do that, please remember and check out our other videos. It is important that you custom tune the ECU to suit those modified air intakes, because that does distort the signal from the airflow meter sensor back to the ECU, and that can end up with those modifications and not being tuned correctly, damage the engine. Now, one big thing on this particular model, and there's a lot of conjecture out there about whether you do need to do a modified high pressure fuel pump. I can tell you with the Ecutech tuning software you don't. With Cobb software you do, but we only use the Ecutech tuning software, and we have done for now over 19 years, and the repeated testing from a fuel mixture point of view and reliable delivery of fuel to this engine with this kit and these modifications is very, very good, and there's a lot of fuel delivery with the factory standard setup. So that is actually one saving when you're looking at an Ecutech custom tune with the RaceROM technology. So make sure you check out mrttuned.com.au for the download document and the Power Kit document. You can read more about this particular car. Make sure you follow us on this channel here and share the video and subscribe for future updates and videos. And of course, you can go to mrtperformance.com.au here in Australia for other parts and features and accessories. And of course, like this particular client, you can come to us for work, or if you're interstate and you can't get to us directly, you can rely on our custom tuning software and our remote support of our partners throughout Australia. Just contact us and we can put you in touch with one of our partners, and you can rely on having a reliable peace of mind tune with guaranteed results here in Australia. But for now, my name is Brett Middleton. I hope this video has helped you learn more about your Mazda 3, and we'll give you another update soon. Bye for now.